Bonjour mes amis, hi guys. Well, the big moment has arrived, the new releases of Watches and Wonders. So let's see a bit what the brands have come up with this year. Of course, we have to start with the star, with the Rolex. And unfortunately, I have to say that the leaks were very true. So it is mostly new dial colors and mostly on precious metal versions of the watches. And there is a brand new line of watches, the oddly named Land Dweller. Well, I suppose the name makes some sense in the Rolex verbiage, but what is really a Land Dweller? Anyway, let's look a bit at those new dial colors. Not very in good taste for some of them, I have to say. And I guess a lot of the attention will go towards this Oyster Flex Daytona with a Tiffany dial. Probably it's going to be quite difficult to get. There's some stone dials as well in the GMT range, and the green dial for a full gold Sky Dweller. Very tough for the retailers to move that kind of pieces already, because Rolex has greatly increased the price of the gold pieces, two-tone and full gold and white gold. And this one here, green dial on the lefty sprite, that's kind of on the nose. It's a bit ugly, and it is a white gold, so it's going to be extremely expensive. I think they're really stretching what consumers will accept, and nobody really asked for this. Anyway, for your lady, small size Oyster Perpetuals with a pastel dials, not really exciting. This really looks a bit like what Omega tends to offer in their catalog. Why not? It's not going to really tilt the balance any particular way for Rolex. In the OP range, especially small sizes. Not many ladies actually like the small sizes. And the 1908, which is available in the stores, by the way, quite expensive watch, now comes with a beautifully made and great looking full gold bracelet. So if already on strap it doesn't sell, this is going to be for a very restricted public. It looks quite nice. It complements the watch well. Very chic, but again, not many people will be able to afford this. Now, more affordable, if you think $16,000 entry price is affordable, this is the famous new Land Dweller, which harkens back to 1969, the Oyster Quartz, and the 1974 Datejust, which had this integrated bracelet style. So the case integrates the first link, if you will, and the bracelet is more angular on the edges in particular, while keeping a lot of the Rolex DNA, fluted bezel, which only has 60 flutes, if you will, so less than Datejust, so a bit more sporty in a way, while being still a very dressy kind of watch. Very slim, under 10 millimeters. Really, the big news here is the new caliber 7135. Really, Rolex flexing again. It's watchmaking prowesses, and it's great to see in the marketing material a slight small look inside the watchmaking departments of Rolex. The caliber is inspired by Breguet's natural escapement research. It is really an indirect dual impulse type of movement, using a lot of silicone for those parts, for the dual escape wheels and the rocker to which they connect, so it's not directly connected to the balance wheel. There's also a ceramic balance shaft and an optimized Paraflex shock absorbers. The movement is going to run for the first time at 5 Hertz, so quicker than a typical Rolex 4 Hertz movement, while keeping 66 hours of power reserve. So it's quite a feat. and other independent watchmakers such as FP Jaune and also Ulysse Nardin had come up with their own version of this type of escapement. So it's exciting to see it on an industrial level. And Rolex also used their Siloxy hairspring. So everything is really new, and it's a very thin and beautifully decorated movement that will show under the display case back. The way they decorate, they still have the Geneva stripes, but in between each stripe there is polished lines, so a bit different than what the other brands do. So it's not ugly to look at all. So a lot of new things going on here with Rolex, showing what they are capable of doing, and we'll have to see, of course, how it performs. It is a superlative chronometer spec, -2, +2, but it's, I'm sure, very well tested by Rolex. We'll have to see by the users how it performs, of course. Now, these watches will be available in different metals. The more affordable ones, still with the white gold bezel, will be 16,000 US, and comes only with the white dial with that honeycomb pattern. And it's an interesting dial. It's got the new style of the 6 and 9, completely open. And if you look at the indices, you can see really the end of the blocks of loom. So again, something a bit new. What I don't like so much is the rear hold. You see that portion for around the dial, angled for the minute track. It does make the watch look a bit smaller, but it's not as elegant, and it adds a bit too much, I feel, visually, especially with the fluted bezel. And the watches will come in 40 and 36 millimeters, and so there will be a Everose gold version, very expensive, and a platinum version where you will get that ice blue dial, of course, as it's the habit with Rolex. So there you go. No micro adjust here, because it's visually beautiful clasp that you can't see from the outside, a bit like what they do on the Jubilee bracelets. So unfortunately, yeah, no micro adjust for a watch that is kind of an everyday watch, sportier. What is a land dweller really? What does it mean? Well, you can ask Roger Federer. I don't know if you can play tennis with it, although he's retired. Yeah, but pretty cool watch. I'd love to see it on the wrist. If you get a chance to grab one here in Hong Kong, let me know. I'd love to be able to document it for the channel. 16,000, quite expensive already, and I'm pretty sure in a year or two we'll have other dial variations, so don't rush too much, I suppose, and also maybe different motifs on the dial. So yeah, overall, yeah, interesting release by Rolex, while the other releases are just more variations, not really interesting. And yeah, the pricing on their precious metal watches, especially gold, is becoming well, yeah, very excessive. So personally, I'm buying, rather than buying a Rolex in gold, I'm buying gold itself and silver. I think even though it's at a life high price, it's still a good time to buy and add every maybe 2 months, 3 months, a little bit, get a few coins, a few maple leaves from the Canadian Mint. Maybe it will hedge you against the next price increases by Rolex on their precious metal watches. But let me know in the comments what you think about those releases. Something interesting, at least, to talk about with this Land Dweller. I'm not sold on the name of the watch itself. Oyster Quartz sounded a bit better, but maybe they could have come up with something else. But I guess it just makes sense since they have the Sea Dweller and the Sky Dweller. Now you can dwell the land in style. Very cool. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Bye bye.